What's up guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Rhino Rack hybrid bike carrier as well as the ski and snowboard attachments, and we're going to be installing these on our 2018 F150 and kind of walking you through the process. So let's jump right into it. So we're going to be installing both of these rack accessories on our truck, but we're going to start with the ski and snowboard mount that we have here, and you can see we have part of it already on the truck and it's really pretty simple. This is going to take a bit more time. So the first thing you want to do with your ski and snowboard mount is make sure you have your keys to unlock it. Then go ahead and grab the two little plastic cups that go underneath. You'll also have some hardware that goes with that, and it'll include the Allen to install it. And really that's all you need. It's super simple. So let's go ahead and put this on the truck. So now that we're in the back of the truck, the first thing you want to consider is what side the button is on to actually open your clamp here. So you're going to want that to be facing outward where it's easiest to access. So in our case, passenger side of the truck is going to be easiest. And then we're going to go ahead and position this so it lines up with the other mount that we've already installed, and get those lined up pretty even. Really, it's pretty simple from here. You're just gonna take your little foot that goes underneath as well as the two screws, and the foot's gonna come from the bottom and the screws from the top. And you can start it first by just hand tightening them a little bit to get it locked on there, and then you're gonna go ahead and take your Allen wrench to tighten these down all the way. All right, and with those last couple turns, we're locked on here nice and tight. And as you can see, push on that rail, it'll pop open. So that basically wraps up how to install it, and you'll just simply unclamp both of these, drop your board or your skis or whatever it is that you want on there, lock it down, and you'll be good to go. So now that we've got both feet tightened down, things locked on here nice and secure, we're all good to go, and we can go ahead and pop these open, throw in some skis, snowboards, whatever else. They'll sit just right on this rubber. You can clamp them in and then use your keys that you got at the beginning to go ahead and lock these closed, and that way nobody can get in and steal any of your stuff. Feeling these, using them, installing them, they're really solid little product. The rubber and everything is malleable and tough. You can tell it's obviously all designed to be waterproof, weather resistant, same with the hinges and hardware and everything. And then the locks and all that seem like they're pretty sturdy, so I don't imagine we'll be having any issues with these down the road. So now I'm gonna go ahead and grab that hybrid bike carrier. We're gonna throw that on the rails and we'll show you how to get that attached. So now that we've got our snowboard ski rack attached to the truck, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this hybrid bike carrier. And basically this is gonna be a little bit more complex than the one we just did, but it's really not that hard. And essentially you're just gonna be attaching these two pieces and then taking those to the vehicle. So let's show you how it's done. So if you take a close look, you'll see that there's some cutouts inside this rail as well as two holes on the end. And you're gonna go ahead and grab the front part of the rack and slide these two together so that it locks into those notches right there. And once it's in place, you'll see that it lines up with two holes on the bottom, and that's where your two little screws are gonna thread in. So we can go ahead and start tightening these down. Now that we've got these threaded on just hand tight, we can go ahead and take the Allen key that they provide and get these torqued down a little bit. So on the back half of the rail here, you're gonna see that there's an attachment with a little foot that'll go underneath. And this is basically gonna clamp to the actual rail on the truck. You'll have some hardware here that'll thread through and attach it. But because this clamps onto the actual rail, obviously we can't tighten it down here on the bench. We have to wait till it's sitting on the rack. So let's go ahead and move this thing over to the truck. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take the actual bike rack here and move these little rubber locking straps out of the way so you can set the front half on the rail and then slide this metal plate over the back rail where you're gonna be attaching it. Also, one thing you wanna consider when you have this sat down is the way your rails and your bike rack are positioned need to be set up in such a way that the bike tire isn't gonna be hitting the front of the cab here. Ours is shifted forward a little bit, but we'll go ahead and slide it a little bit more later. So let's continue here with the install by grabbing our hardware. So we're gonna go ahead and take this lower plastic clamp, put it underneath the rail, and then we can drop the hardware in from the top and just get it slightly tightened on there with your fingers just to hold it in place. All right, now with that in place, we can go ahead and take our little Allen wrench here and get this tightened on a little bit more securely. As you're tightening this, make sure you kind of tighten a little bit on each side and pull it up nice and even so you're not locking it on in a way where it's lopsided or shifting the rail. You just want it to be nice and snug with even pressure on both sides. Okay, perfect. So that's gonna go ahead and lock the back part of the rail on, and now we can move to the front. So moving up front of the bike rack, this is gonna attach a little bit differently from the back, but it's not too complicated once you've actually done it. So first things first, go ahead and take your key, and if you have the lock and this plastic plate installed, we're gonna remove that first. Some of you, when you get it out of the box, this won't be attached yet, and you can just pull it straight onto the truck. But once that's clear and out of the way, you're gonna see that there's this long Allen screw in the center, and we'll deal with that in a second. But first we're gonna take the locking straps from the bottom, pull those around and slide them into the channels underneath. And there is 2 straps there, so we'll go ahead and get both of those in place. And then now once we have those locked in, we can go up to the top here, and we're gonna start turning this little Allen screw. And basically that pulls on one end of the straps to tighten everything up and lock it into place. All right, and with that, we've got these pulled on nice and tight. It's locked onto the rail. You can feel that it's secure, and once you have it tight enough to where you're happy, then you can go ahead, set that Allen wrench aside. Let's grab the plastic plate, and this will just pop into place on top of it. Once that's clicked in, we can take our lock, and there you go. That'll secure the front half so it doesn't pull off and nobody can get in here and try and steal the rail, or obviously steal your bike with the rail. Overall, it seems like a really stout setup. There's a lot of adjustability here. Obviously the locking and safety is a good feature, but having the movable bars and the large rail and everything involved, you can carry a lot of different bikes. And this is really good if you're somebody who has a road bike, a mountain bike, or you got kids with bikes and you want to haul different sizes or different varieties. It seems like this rack is going to do the trick to cover that for you. So that wraps up the install on both of these Rhino rack accessories. And we're excited to get out, try and use these things. We'll probably load up my mountain bike on here. I can throw my snowboard in there. We'll get a sense of what these actually do. But if you guys are interested in picking up these for your truck, you can head down the description below, click those links. It'll shoot you over to the site, and we'll see you guys next time.